As I've said many times, some people might know me as a Sonja player. I played 200 Sonja games before I went into the Global League, but I realized I never actually shown a Sonja game on here. So I was thinking of playing a live game. Somebody wanted a live game, and I said, sure, I'll play it. Uh, we decided to go. I said I do need some more practice on mixed base map since most of these games I've shown so far are not on mixed base. So he opened the map on Caustic Finale, where it is mixed base and well, it's good practice. I was he was going tier 4, so I decided to also go tier 4, but I was struggling which to pick. I knew Jake was the safe choice to pick, but he said that I should pick Grim, and I thought, oh, so we're playing that kind of game, eh? Been a while since I can finally play Sonja, but might as well pick Sonja for once, and I can actually show Sonja for like I say I played 200 Sonja games. I might as well show one of them at least. So I picked Sonja. This is a live game, by the way. We were playing this live. I'm not sure if I have to submit it or anything to the live league in the Discord, but in the Advanced Wars by Web Discord or anything. But we did play this live with the 5-minute, 2-minute timer increment timers. And one thing I was not aware is apparently Sonja does break the new interface plus is what I've heard. So while it is live, I suppose the people spectating, if there were any, I don't remember. This was some time ago. The people spectating probably would have to refresh their page just to see what happens because I don't know how it works. I just know that for whatever reason, when I spectate a game and one of the players are Sonja, I tend to have to refresh the page quite often. I built an artillery here because I want to get this property, and I know artillery is just one turn away from locking it down. My opponent goes for a tank, and I now lock this property down. It's mine now. And he goes for a tank and an artillery up here. Alright, looks like he's going to be aggressive in this area, whereas I'm controlling this area. And I go for a tank and a mech. Don't ask why about the mech, I just wanted a mech for whatever reason. I don't know. We were playing this live, so I had to think on the spot. I decided I wanted a mech. Well, what more is there to say? I wanted a mech, so I pick a mech. I place my artillery in such a way that his infantry can't just walk up and attack it. Thing about Sonja infantry is that they are good for if it's just infantry on infantry battle. I would say Sonja does have the upper hand in the capture game, simply because they have the ability to almost well, they do so much damage on their counterattack, especially with the comm tower. Once you get the comm tower, the plus 50% counterattack damage, along with another infantry killing off, that could probably kill off an infantry. I don't know the exact percent probability of that, but yeah. I'm playing very cautiously here. This tank has a lot of control, so he continues going after this property, which he has an artillery backup, so I can't really do anything about it. I decide to back off, And I realized his tank is down there, so I could probably do something up there and just block him off. Now he can't attack my tank. But this is where my first mistake happens. It's not a game losing blunder or anything, but I attacked before capturing my comm tower. So with a comm tower, I probably would have killed it off. You can see Sonja's bad luck prevented her from being able to kill off this infantry, but the comm tower should be able to offset it. I move my artillery up here to cover this infantry, and then I proceed to move an infantry here that's not covered by the artillery. Whoops. He goes off and kills off my infantry on the city, and goes after my property. Alright, I can see his focus is over here. I kill off his infantry, and then I sit on that property and decide to wall off my tanks. He can still reach my tank with he can still reach off my tanks in two areas, but then that would well, no, he can't actually, but no, his 7 HP infantry can kill off my 4 HP. I'm sure he doesn't actually know the HP, but I'm sure he recognized that it's the same infantry that he attacked, so it's probably weak. And I put my artillery here to shell this city, as well as move my mech down. I wanted my mechs to protect these tanks, but at the same time, I also don't want this front to fall completely. But I decided I'd rather defend this artillery than to support the attack on this property. He joined caps, and does he go for? No, he does not go for the artillery. Okay. I decide to just pick off the infantry here with my artillery. I go for this cap, and he meant to build a medium tank, but he fat fingered into a rocket. So I thought, alright, uh, I don't know why I'm still pressing my tanks here. Maybe I wanted to take this port that badly. But there's no way I'm holding that port with that rocket there. He gets a shot on my rocket. I also built a rocket in response. So this game is kind of scuffed. But we play on anyway, because I never surrender. I decide to kill off this infantry and put it in range, put the recon in range of my artillery. If he kills off my infantry, I'm fine with that, because I killed an infantry in response already. And I move my recon up here to cover this side, because I know my tanks can't do anything up here, so I decide to front shift and throw everything I have on the bottom. And I'll just put one recon, well, not recon, one rocket to defend that top. I continue softening up the infantry to deny his ability to capture. Another mech. This game is not normal. I'm sure you see that by now. We have rockets, we have mechs. This is not a normal game whatsoever. And he decides to pursue my fleeing infantry. This was supposed to be a medium tank, but since it's a rocket, he's now forced to play with it. But I am just abandoning this front completely because I want to focus everything I have down here. I go for the capture. I pick off his second infantry and this time protecting both my units with artillery. And I send everything down. I don't quite remember why I moved my artillery here. I really don't remember what was my reasoning. But I just allowed him to get a shot on it with his infantry. And I see his focus is on this side. So here's an issue. There's a lot of tanks here, but not a lot of infantry. That means I mech spam. Okay. So this has become a very, very unusual game with rockets and mechs, all because of that one misclick. And I built a medium tank because I know that tank on tank I'll probably lose against Jake. I unfortunately put my recon in range of his artillery. He has his power, so if he uses his power, all his indirects get +1 range. Uh, I don't want him to base lock me. I continue pressing my attack down here. I got my power, my super, so I decide to use counter break. And I continue inching my way forward. My infantry can start taking the comm tower, and my artillery can move to base lock this one. And he starts shooting at my tanks. He activates his super and gets a shot on my recon, which hurts. He kills off my wall of infantry here, gets a shot on my rocket, attacks my mech during counter break. But I'm still focusing completely down here because I don't want to deal with that rocket. I'm not charging into that. He has more tanks in the area. There's no point. I'll just focus down here and hope that I can win over here so I can redirect everything back up. But he still doesn't have that much infantry in this area. He actually base skipped because he didn't have the money to buy anything left. But still, I decide to artillery lock this base and go for the comm tower. I know I will need the comm tower to start doing stuff. I get night shots with my mechs. There's no infantry to contest it. I realize his tank here could reach for my rocket, so I put my artillery in the way. I continue focusing on the bottom side and just inch ever so slightly towards this base. And more mechs. Because more mechs. At this point, if we look at the unit value, we're at the same value, but it's my opponent's turn, so he could build more units. But he chose to resign. Now this is what was actually confusing me because I thought he was winning. He has more value, he will have more units at the end of his turn because he can start killing off my units and he still has 4 bases he can build from. So I thought he was winning, but maybe the comm tower is and the artillery lock is what ultimately decided that he should resign. I mean, he is kind of artillery locking my base over here, I suppose. And he could potentially continue to rocket and artillery lock my base. So that's why I thought he was winning. Because I have to respond to my HQ being capped. I know if I can't just ignore it. He can ignore this area since his HQ is not here. That's why I thought he was winning. But I suppose against Sonja, because you don't actually know the HP of her units, it could be demoralizing because you know they are there, you know they just did some damage to your tanks, but you don't actually know how strong they are, or their combined total value. Like this 3 HP tank here doesn't know it's 3 HP because I'm Sonja. And I guess it just demoralized them. But yeah, finally a Sonja game that I can show for once.